me a little bit. Of course, I take the least amount of time. I'm out in 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll open it out to, if anyone has questions, you would raise your hand and we'll send a mic to the gentleman there. I think we can take maybe 3 questions. Can we send a mic to the gentleman there, or you can stand up and... just go for it.
So, I'm from Sri Lanka, from Colombo. So I'm currently at the Colombo Fashion Council, and the session is really good, and it was very enlightening about fashion and film, and we are big fan of both of you. And Masaba I think was #1 TV show in Sri Lanka in Netflix. So we are big fan following there. So my question is about fashion conscious and sustainability. Now, as an actor, Tamannaah, do you think twice before you pick a garment from a designer to understand, or do you do a little bit of a background check to know how this garment is produced, or the animals are slaughtered, or is it coming from a sweatshop? How much conscious are you about that? And also, Masaba, how conscious are you about your production when it comes to sustainability and ethical fashion? Thank you.
So, for me, I think now I've made it a point that I have the most easiest wardrobe to manage. I've kept my personal clothing to the bare minimum because I realize I like to wear only 4 pants, and I keep rotating that like everybody else. And but for my work, yes, I keep needing different kind of clothes, and as and when I procure what I need. But in today's times, I've actually been interacting with a few designers closely, from Masaba to Rahul Mishra to Gaurav Gupta, Neeta Lulla, and I feel like they are people who have been so instrumental in putting out India on the world map. And I make sure, like when I was talking to Rahul, his previous collection itself was inspired by nature. So, and the superheroes were insects, for example, which I thought was a beautiful thought and idea. And just to know his idea of sustainability. So I'm actually educating myself while I'm also making choices where I take in only what I need and not excessively splurge on things that I don't think I can reuse. Because I feel like it can never be enough. So it's best to minimize what you can actually use, and I'm being conscious of that. Yeah, the curly hair. So there were 2 kind of women who came up to me. One was someone middle-aged, and she was like, I'm really thankful to you that I'm feeling that, it's good to be curvy and it's good to, be a bit chubby. And I did not till that moment realize that according to her, I was chubby in the song. I thought I was just fine. But it was nice to see that Indian women are curvy. And if there's one thing that I would really like to encourage through the way I dress today, is to embrace my curves and to make women feel great about it, because people want it, and if you have it, I think you should just flaunt it and enjoy it. And then I had a very young girl who had made a reel on the same song, and she was like, I went and I bought the same animal print fabric and I bought the same color and I made that, and I got it made from my tailor and I did this reel, and she was showing me the reel. So I was like, that's what's happening right now with what as actors we're doing. Someone that young is getting influenced in terms of ideas. She curled her hair, she did exactly what I did. And so that's the influence we have right now. So I think the idea is to enjoy yourself and just see the magic happen, because somewhere or the other, if you do something heartfelt, it touches people.
I think when I'm creating, Rajiv, I definitely think about, I think things have changed actually for me, I have to say. When I started off, it was more about, is this on trend, or is this something that's going to be cool for now and be spoken about? And I'm talking about 2009 when I started. And today, when I'm creating something, and when I did my first bridal collection, which was late last year, I remember thinking, I'm not doing this for now. I'm not doing this for the next bridal season, or I'm not doing it for even the next year after that. I'm doing this for women who will hopefully be brides maybe 5, 7, 8, 10 years down the line, maybe 20 years down the line. And I think that's how the largest bridal brands, houses have been built in this country. They have not been built overnight. They've taken 20, 25 a black dress and then being packed with flash.
Were you a sport about it when they dug into it?
Yeah, I think I was. But this was pre social media. I don't know how I would feel about it now. Maybe I wouldn't do it, obviously. Well, I hope I've learned. But yeah, I think I was quite a sport about it.
Namita, your story?
I mean, so many to mention, I think. But I'm always the most underdressed person in the room, not today, but otherwise.
I will take that honor today.
Today that honor belongs to you. You should have worn a jacket. But yeah, I think I need to dress up a little more, and I would be much happier if I did.
Okay. Tamannaah, your story?
Too many, Rajiv, too many. And it's all documented. I started work at 15, so people have seen me grow up from 15 and 34 today. There's enough evidence of how terribly I failed on the internet. All you need to do is Google me. Yeah, but I'm really proud of it now. I just feel like I've come such a long way. And sometimes when I'm having a low day, I'm actually looking at those images. I'm like, इतना तो खराब नहीं था. I'm like, ये तो ठीक है.
It's an interesting point I want to ask all of you. The thing about films and fashion and any form of art is that, does it hold up when you look back at it? And I know this because we look at films and I look at Dil Chahta Hai and I say, it holds up. 20 years later, it still holds up. What is important? Are you thinking about that when you're creating fashion, when you're creating a look? Is it going to hold up? Because I look at old films and I really think about Dil Chahta Hai. The fashion sometimes isn't holding up in that fiction, in that film. There's this one song, Koi Kahe, it's that disco song, and I'm like, I can't believe they wore that stuff. So what is I don't know. I mean, a lot of stuff actually. Go back to the 80s. 80s would a blur. We'll just forget the 80s. Everyone was bad in the 80s. But a lot of 90s stuff also. You look at people like they wore that. That was okay. Are you conscious of that? Or is that just way too much pressure to take on? That what are they going to be thinking 20 years later?
I think it's cyclical. The whole 80s and 90s pretty much came back a couple of.
It was so tight that my stomach started to hurt and I had to leave the event and I had to go. So, as actors, I think we're always trying to put the best version of ourselves. Because somewhere we realize that just like when I was a young girl, I got inspired by a film actor. There'll be somebody out there watching me and getting inspired. But that particular night, when I wore that outfit and I literally had a stomachache and I had to leave the event because of my tummy being upset, because of how tight and how I could not breathe, I decided that very night that never again will I do this. And never again would want to put another girl through that feeling that she needs to wear a dress that tight that she can't breathe in. But I think that's the journey. We all need to make that journey where in the pursuit of putting our best foot forward, instead of crumbling under that pressure, we have to realize from that pressure that what is it that actually matters, and what actually makes you feel good and comfortable, and what is the standard that you want to set for people, because the standard of beauty is just, sometimes it's bizarre and it's not, realistic to care anything, but not even about realism. I'm saying it has to be human. Let's just get that part. So I think that's what I'm aiming for today. I'm definitely in a place where I feel like a red carpet is an opportunity for me to have fun and dress up. And yes, it is literally, it is pretty much, getting an organ away. That sort of expense is needed for a certain day. But I guess I look at it like a business. Because I feel like as actors, like how she said, today we are, if you are in the fashion industry or if you are in any way associated with it, it's a part of an investment into your job itself. I remember when I was a young girl, I didn't have the money, Rajiv. I was very, very young. I would have to take it from my parents. But there would be no budget for costumes, for film. I've taken my own costumes and I've gone and shot songs. So today as an actor, yes, it's hard, it's not possible for everybody to do it. But if you're in the position to do it, I think a smart business person or a smart potential entrepreneur would always think about, how can I put into my own work, because I am my own work. So,
honestly, Rajiv, I think do what you can with what your means are. I really believe that, and I think do it more from a point of like, I think it's going to be hell for everyone's mental health to begin with. To see or to match up to the standard of looking a certain way and having a certain body and having certain hair, makeup and jewels all the time.
because I feel like your mood is actually a great way to even get inspired. Because I feel like sometimes when you don't have anything in mind, sometimes you come up with something really creative. And I have many a times discovered things when I've been in a lot of constraint. And I feel like creativity comes out of constraint when you don't have the things you need. So I actually use that as a food for whenever I want to dress up.
Masaba, you're an actor as well now, and a pretty good one. Welcome to the show, Masaba.
How it works.
So I think as I grew and I matured, my thought process has changed, where I like to do things which
Just about had started my career. That time there were costume designers that created looks for individual actors from the point of view of their character, and yet kind of creating a sort of a fashion statement for the masses and people to follow. But the beauty of that time was
But this was for the screen, for on screen.
for on screen.
Right.
But at that point, there was a beauty where they were specifically making it to that particular actor. I saw a lot more style coming out at that point. I saw a lot more